How are you?
Excellent. Yourself?
Excellent. That's my computer there. You can
This
see
one?
that? Yeah. I'm just going to FTP in this right after we're done.
Yes, because they're looking for just
Probably 30 seconds.
Oh, okay.
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 Hey, good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming down today. We're going to start off. We're going to talk about an arrest that the VPD made yesterday in a 2016 fatal hit and run. The Vancouver Police have made an arrest after a 32-month investigation into a hit and run that claimed the life of I'm going to do that again. Vancouver Police have made an arrest after a 32-month investigation into a hit and run that claimed the life of 30-year-old Ryan Barron. Amanpreet Sohal, a 23-year-old Vancouver man, has been charged with failure to stop at an accident causing bodily harm and dangerous driving causing death. Ryan was skateboarding with a friend on Heather Street near West 54th Avenue around 2:30 in the morning on April 17, 2016 when he was hit by a vehicle. The driver drove away without stopping or offering any assistance, and Ryan died a short time later in hospital. 2 days after the hit and run, investigators located a vehicle believed to be involved at a home in East Vancouver. The vehicle had extensive damage and was seized and processed for evidence at the time. Our collision investigators have worked tirelessly over the last 32 months to secure charges against Amanpreet Sohal. There's no additional information to share at this time. I will do my best to answer any questions, but please remember that the file is now in front of the courts.
Can you just talk about the length of time? You had this car 2 days after this young man was killed. Talk about what goes on in an investigation like this that takes so long to prove who was behind the wheel.
Every investigation is unique, and something like this, I'm not sure if you saw, do that again. Every investigation is unique and gives certain challenges to our investigators. We really have to do our best, and we have a duty to slow things down, collect evidence that will help, positively identify the person responsible and give Crown enough information that they can lay a charge. In files like this, we look at things like vehicle testing. We could be looking at things like DNA, video surveillance, witness pleas, witness interviews, those sorts of things.
What was the biggest challenge for investigators in this case?
The biggest challenge in this case is the driver of this vehicle hit a skateboarder in the middle of the night, chose not to stop. The vehicle was obviously damaged, and the vehicle was taken to a home on Vancouver's east side, and the driver chose not to claim responsibility and to own up to this. So now that we had the vehicle, we didn't just have the vehicle. Our investigators looked for witnesses. We did lots of measurements, scene reconstruction, looked for video, all these sorts of things. And we spoke to people. We believed that there was people out there that had information about this that just wasn't sharing it.
So did you have people come forward recently in this investigation to secure these charges?
I'm not able to get into the specifics about the evidence that have led to these charges. I can tell you that it was a long, drawn-out investigation. At no time did our investigators give up. They had the vehicle, they had the crime, and they took all that information together and peeled back the layers until they were able to identify the driver, and he's now been charged.
Was the owner of the vehicle or the home where the vehicle was parked non-cooperative?
I'm not able to get into the specifics. That'll form part of the investigation. Unfortunately, at this time, I can't share that.
Does the individual who's been charged, does he have a record?
I'd encourage you to have a look at the BC Online Court Registry. I don't have that information at this point.
To police?
Again, I'd encourage you to have a look at the BC Online. I don't have that information with me.
And it's two separate charges, correct?
It is two separate charges. Excuse me, I just want to grab one thing just to make sure. So Amanpreet Sohal, he's a 23-year-old Vancouver resident. He's been charged with two criminal charges. One is failure to stop at an accident causing bodily harm, and the other one is dangerous driving causing death.
Can you confirm whether he was or was not the owner of the vehicle that you seized?
I don't have that information.
And the alleged victim, where was he living in BC at the time? I know he was from Windsor originally, but was he in Vancouver?
I believe he was a Vancouver resident who had recently moved here to work, and his life was on a great path. He had just received a promotion at work. His family obviously loved him dearly and spoke very highly during their time here in Vancouver when they met with us.
Do you know what kind of work he was doing or anything about him?
I don't. I do believe that there's additional information available on the first, during the first press conference. It was in December of 2016, if you want to review that. The family had some great information about this young man.
There's never closure for a family when they lose someone, especially in a case like this. What did they say about the fact that charges have now been laid 32 months later?
Our investigators have been in contact with the family over the last couple of years. They've always been great to deal with. They've always been very supportive, and they knew we weren't giving up. I can't put myself in their shoes. I did receive a message last night that they have been contacted, they're aware of the arrest, and they were very thankful.
How gratifying is it for police 32 months later to a ton of man hours to finally be able to say, yes, we can put this guy into the justice system and hope justice is served?
This is a good reminder to people that are involved in criminal activity or have committed a crime and you're hiding from it. We're not going to give up. You're going to be looking over your shoulder, and you should be, because we are going to come for you eventually. From a policing standpoint, the investigators and the policing community as a whole are very, very thankful that this has come together, and now we're going to work with the courts and see where this takes us.
And does that sometimes play into the actual sentencing, the fact that the person didn't come forward and didn't speak out and made police do that much work?
Anything to do with sentencing would have to go to the BC Prosecution Service.
In the case of the break-in at Mung Wan Joe's residence.
Sorry, can we just, are we finished with this one here? Sorry.
No worries.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, it's 10:36. We're going to move on to other issues. Any other questions?
Yes. So in the case of the break-in at Mung Wan Joe's residence, can you tell us if the suspects are known to her?
I don't have any information about the suspects in that file. There's no information that I've been told that suspects knew her or have any relationship to her whatsoever.
But it hasn't been ruled out that there was a relationship. Do you know that for sure?
I don't know that for sure, but I wouldn't know that in any investigation.
Any determination yet on motive?
Not at this point. I know the investigation is still active. We're looking into the motive to the crime, but more importantly, who's involved and who should be held accountable for it.
Is there anything you can tell us about those suspects, what you know about them, what investigators are looking at?
In order to protect the integrity of the investigation, we're not going to share much more than we've already shared. We're very thankful that, you know what, I'm going to leave it at that.
Police have shared with us in the past, though, whether or not someone is known to the alleged victim. It's not integral to the investigation to let us know if these are people who are unknown or known.
If I knew, I would tell you. I would consider telling you. At this point, I just don't know.
Can you check that for us?
I think I would know. They would have told me if any suspects, if there was a suspect, their relationship, if any, was known. I would know that at this point. So I'm satisfied to tell you at this point there's no known relationship between them.
Any idea when we might get an update on that case?
As soon as I get one that we're able to share publicly, but I can tell you it's still active.
What role, if any, did the VP play in the actual arrest or the days after her arrest?
Actually, it hasn't played any role. Yeah, the Vancouver Police, our only involvement in that file to date has been to the separate incident of the break-in to the residence. Right. Thank you very much for coming down. I'll stick around if you have any other questions.